Singapore is one of the richest countries on Earth. Its airport is ranked among the best in the world. Its port handles hundreds of billions of dollars in trade every year. Its citizens enjoy one of the highest standards of living anywhere on the planet. But none of this was supposed to happen. In fact, if you had asked experts in 1965 whether Singapore would survive as an independent nation, many would have said no. The country had almost no natural resources. It lacked fresh water. It had a tiny land area, deep ethnic divisions, and was surrounded by larger neighbors. By all logic, Singapore should have failed. Instead, it became one of the greatest economic success stories in modern history. So, how did a country that shouldn't exist become one of the richest nations on Earth? This is the incredible story of Singapore. Chapter 1: A country with no advantages. To understand Singapore's success, we first need to understand how unlikely it was. Singapore is tiny. The entire country covers only about 734 square kilometers. For comparison, New York City is actually larger. Unlike many wealthy nations, Singapore has no oil, no gas, no gold, and virtually no natural resources. Even fresh water was a problem. For decades, Singapore depended heavily on neighbor Malaysia for water supplies. The situation became even worse in 1965. That's when Singapore was expelled from Malaysia, not separated, not granted independence. Expelled. Political disagreements and ethnic tensions had made the union unstable. Suddenly, Singapore found itself alone. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew famously broke down in tears during a television interview announcing the separation because he knew the challenges ahead. The country faced unemployment, housing shortages, racial tensions, and uncertainty about its future. Many believed Singapore would not survive, and honestly, they had good reasons to think so. Chapter 2: The Man with a Plan. But Singapore had one major advantage: leadership. Lee Kuan Yew wasn't interested in ideology. He was interested in results. His government realized that Singapore couldn't compete through natural resources, so it focused on something else. People. Education became a national priority. Schools were expanded. Literacy rates increased rapidly. The government invested heavily in developing a highly skilled workforce. At the same time, Singapore opened its doors to foreign investment. Many developing countries at the time were suspicious of multinational corporations. Singapore did the opposite. The government actively invited foreign companies to set up factories and offices. Businesses found a stable government, low corruption, efficient bureaucracy, and access to global shipping routes. The strategy worked. Jobs began to appear. Industries started growing, and international investors took notice. Chapter 3: Location changed everything. While Singapore lacked resources, it possessed something incredibly valuable: location. The country sits near the Strait of Malacca, one of the most important shipping routes in the world. Every year, trillions of dollars worth of goods pass through these waters. Singapore transformed itself into a global trading hub. The port of Singapore became one of the busiest ports on Earth. Ships traveling between Europe, the Middle East, and Asia found Singapore to be the perfect stop. The government continuously upgraded infrastructure. Ports became larger. Technology improved efficiency. And businesses gained confidence that Singapore could handle global trade better than almost anyone else. Over time, shipping became one of the pillars of the economy. But this was only the beginning. Chapter 4: Building a Nation from Scratch. Economic growth alone wasn't enough. Singapore also had to solve its social problems. One of the biggest challenges was housing. In the early years, many citizens lived in overcrowded and unsafe conditions. The government launched an ambitious housing program. Millions of people were relocated into modern apartments. Today, around 80% of Singapore's population lives in public housing. But these aren't the projects many people imagine. They're clean, safe, and well-maintained communities. The housing strategy achieved something remarkable. It gave citizens a stake in the country's future. Home ownership increased dramatically. Social stability improved. And Singapore avoided many of the urban problems seen elsewhere. Chapter 5: The War on Corruption. Another key reason for Singapore's success was its fight against corruption. Many countries struggle because businesses don't trust institutions. Bribes increase costs. Rules become unpredictable. Investment declines. Singapore took a different path. Corruption laws were aggressively enforced. Government officials were held to high standards. Public institutions became known for efficiency and transparency. As a result, international companies felt safe investing billions of dollars. Trust became one of Singapore's most valuable assets. And trust is often more important than natural resources. Chapter 6: From Factories to Finance. As Singapore grew wealthier, its economy evolved. The country moved beyond manufacturing. It became a financial powerhouse. Major banks established regional headquarters. Investment firms poured money into the city. Technology companies followed. Today, Singapore is often considered the financial capital of Southeast Asia. Global corporations use Singapore as a gateway into Asian markets. The country consistently ranks among the easiest places in the world to do business. What began as a small trading port had transformed into a global economic giant. Chapter 7: The Cost of Success. But Singapore's success story isn't perfect. The country faces criticism. Housing prices have risen significantly. The cost of living is among the highest in the world. Some critics argue that strict laws limit personal freedoms. Others point to growing economic inequality. These debates continue today, and they raise an important question. How much control should governments have in pursuit of prosperity? Singapore's model has produced remarkable results, but it remains a unique experiment that not every country could replicate. Outro. When Singapore became independent in 1965, few people believed it had a future. No resources, no strategic depth, no guarantee of survival. Yet within a single generation, it achieved what many nations spend centuries trying to accomplish. Singapore proved that geography is not destiny, that leadership matters, that institutions matter, and that sometimes the countries least likely to succeed end up changing the world. The tiny island nation that shouldn't exist became one of the greatest success stories in modern history. And perhaps that's exactly why the world continues to study it today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Could another country ever repeat Singapore's success? Before you go, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think about today's topic and what country or story you want us to cover next. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Atlas Aura and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We post new videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m., covering the world's most fascinating economies, countries, and geopolitical stories. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.